It's time for NRCS Party Line today for it's Thursday, May the 24th, 2018. NRCS Party Line brought to you by Wimmer Opticians of St. Cloud, Atlas Family Chiropractic of Wade Park, West Central Sanitation. The sun is shining. Supposedly, it's going to be toasty today with a high temp of about 88. Mix of sun and clouds. We've got more sun than, well, I guess we kind of have a mix of sun and clouds right now. Chance of some scattered storms developing a little bit later on. There's some rain up near Duluth and northern Wisconsin and kind of north central Minnesota right now. South of Fargo, some rain showers. But here, mix of clouds and sun, 75 right at the moment. South winds 13 to 16. NRCS Party Line in studio with us. Rick Berscheid from the Natural Resources Conservation Service, NRCS District Conservationist, also from the Soil and Water Conservation District. Nathan Hylla, Advanced Engineering Technician, Project Management Supervisor, and a whole bunch of other titles, I'm sure, right, Nathan?
That's correct.
Should I call you Nathan or Nate on the air?
Normally
Mr.
people call
Hylla?
me Nate, not Mr. Hylla.
Not Mr. Hylla.
I'm fine with very informal.
Does that make you feel old or something?
It does. You made a comment to me last night that you said, I have how old is your oldest? Oh,
9.
She's 14 here.
Yours is, yeah.
And you are, you look so young.
See, huh?
I appreciate that.
Do I know how to schmooze or what? No, I couldn't believe that because you look like you should have maybe an infant to maybe a 2 or 3 year old, and that's it.
Yeah.
See? Oh, Rick, you look fine too.
Well, thank you, Brad.
You look wonderful as well. I don't want to leave you out of this whole compliment thing, but you two are here to educate us about a whole bunch of things this morning. You want to start with that energy grant?
Absolutely. So we had a meeting here a week ago with Stearns Electric and Great River Energy. There is a new grant that is available that Great River Energy applied for through the Rural Energy for America. This is a new grant that is run through all of their co-ops. So there's 28 different co-ops across the state that they provide energy for, that this grant is available for. And it is for a new farm energy management program to do on-farm energy audits. Participant in a new energy efficient management program designed to assist all types of agricultural producers identify and prioritize energy efficiency opportunities. We also have a program through our EQIP program that also helps pay for energy audits. But this is another great program that if you missed our last sign up and you're really wanting to get started on doing some energy improvements and you don't want to wait another year, we can help you through this new grant. The grant covers 75% of the cost of the audit. So there is a 25% match that the participant would be responsible for. There is a number here that you would need to call or give us a call at the office, and we'll definitely help you through the process. The number is 1-800-441-8525. This will get you linked up to one of the energy people, and they will make sure that you are in the area and your service provider is one of the providers that will be participating with this grant. An expert will conduct a site visit and complete an energy audit that includes an in-depth analysis and recommendations via a comprehensive written energy management plan. If you're thinking about doing this, we really encourage you to contact our office, because if there are any improvements that they document in the audit, we can potentially assist you in implementing them and getting you some financial assistance. And when we met with Stearns Electric, there's quite a few rebates out there as well. So depending on what you would have to install, we want to make sure that we're checking into making sure that you're taking advantage of all those rebates as well.
So are there some general things they are looking for when they go down the checklist, or what are they looking for to save energy?
So there's quite a few different items that they look at. Majority of them are on the farmstead or the headquarters, where they're looking at your barn, they're looking at the lighting, they're looking at updating your washers, dryers, scroll compressors, plate coolers, a lot of those for the dairy operations. If you have irrigation, they do pumping plant evaluations, making sure that's as efficient as possible. They may recommend putting in a variable speed drive on them as well to save some energy. There's a whole slew of things that they'll be taking a look at. So when you call that number and you tell them you're interested, just give them all the information. Tell them about your operation. Tell them, what your crop end is. Are you have irrigation? Do you have beef? Do you have poultry? Do you have dairy? And then they will make sure that they look at all of that. Just one thing you want to make sure that when they do the audit, that we need the audit to be a ASABE 612. That's just the code of the energy audit. It's just a comprehensive audit, because I think they will do other audits as well. It's just we want to make sure that we can take advantage of our other programs to piggyback with this one. So that audit needs to be that ASABE 612. And we've informed them as well, so they will be making sure to get you the right audit.
You know, unlike anything, you know, in today's day and age in any business, you got to look at, you know, every part of that business. And energy is no different on the farm. It helps, you know, cut costs. There is some cost savings for farmers. So I think this is a program that's really kind of exploded here in Stearns County, and we've got a lot of interest working with our office. And energy is something we're bringing up now a little bit more. But like I said, any business, it's important to look at the bottom line, and this definitely improves that.
What is the amount set aside for all of these improvements?
So this grant, what they received is $100,000.
Okay.
And it pays 75% of the audit. And they potentially may be able to get additional funds after these funds are gone. We'll have to see how this first grant goes. They may be able to apply for another one. So we don't know.
So I was going to say then, what are they estimating per, you know, farm for these improvements? And therefore, how much or how fast will this money be used up, and how soon should somebody get in and get the information to maybe want to do this?
Sure, absolutely. So on average, if I had to give you a ballpark number as far as what an audit costs, they're going to be around, they're going to vary by each operation, but you could figure around $2,500 to $3,000 approximately. Mm-hmm. Each operation is going to be different. So if everyone went through the grant and just used these funds, that would go fairly quickly. We're only looking at 30, 40 audits. Okay. However, if the money doesn't go quick, we're able to piggyback with our other programs where we can spread this money out farther. So we could use our EQIP program, which is federal funding, to pay for a portion of the grant, and then this grant would be able to pick up the remaining costs up to that 75%.
Very good. We got to go to a break already. More from Rick and Nate after we get back from our news break. It is 9:30. It's Chasm Radio. All right, it's Chasm Radio. Answers Party Line continues visiting with Nathan Hylla from the SWCD and Rick Berscheid from NRCS. We were talking some energy audit stuff that you've got some funding for, Rick, and people can contact and get these audits done and hopefully down the line save some cash there.
Absolutely. So if you're interested, stop by our office. We'll find the program that's best for you to get that audit. And one last time, this grant that we were talking about is through the local co-ops here, Stearns Electric's ones that's participating. Other ones around us that are participating are Candy Ojai Power, Meeker Co-op, East Central Energy, Runestone Electric. And the number to call is 1-800-441-8525 to see if your co-op where you're getting your energy from is participating.
How soon can these start up, these audits?
From our meeting, what I was told, it's first come, first serve until the money's gone. So if you're interested, again, call that number and call us at the office, 320-251-7800 extension 3, and we'll help you through the process.
So like within a week's time or a couple of weeks or a month? Or
this just got approved. So if you call today, you might be the first one.
Go for it and see what happens. Okay. What else should we focus on?
Joe just came in here and we were talking about the grazing cropland exchange. So I just wanted to throw that out there to all of our grazing producers or producers that may have some pasture that they would want to rent out or planting cover crops and would interested in getting some livestock back on the landscape. Check out the Grazing Cropland Exchange. It's a web page on the MDA website to link grazers and forage producers. And last year we had over 50 people participating on there. So if you're looking for some additional forage or you're looking for someone to come onto your property to harvest your forage, take a look at that webpage, Grazing Cropland Exchange.
Okay. Cover crops.
Sauk River has a cover crop program right now. They've got funding to fund cover crops. They still work through our office, so interested farmers, interested landowners would contact our office at 320-251-7800 extension 3 to get some cover crop assistance. We've got technical experts, and we're looking at trying to provide incentives for them of up to 75% of the reimbursable costs. So Mick, maybe you want to talk a little bit about some of the benefits of the cover crop program or cover crops in general, because that's a big push. And I work with the Sauk River Watershed District. Everything can be done in-house at the Stearns County SWCD and NRCS. You come into the office, you work with a technician in our office. Sauk River has the funding available to help cover the cost, and we work with them to get the farmer paid. If it's something you want to try. One of the other benefits to this program, before I let Rick go, is some of the other program requirements allow you to put that cover crop on the same land. So, for example, if you've got a 40-acre field, this program is unique. The other programs you have to put the cover crops on some of those on that same 40 acres for a period of sometimes up to 3 to 5 years. This program is a little bit more flexible. If you're interested in trying cover crops, so if you sign 40 acres up, Brad, you can actually put 40 acres in and then move those cover crops around to try it in different locations within your farm. So that's a huge benefit to this program. So, and again, the funding comes from the Sauk River Watershed District. So those who are in that Sauk River Watershed area are eligible for some funds. The Middle Sauk area, which is basically Richmond to the Sauk Lake Dam, is kind of a focus area right now for funding. But you can at least ask the question. If we can't find an option for you for funding, we'll look elsewhere to see if we can get you funded. So, not just the Sauk River Watershed District, but in Stearns County, we've got the Clearwater River Watershed. We've got the North Fork Watershed, and then we got the northeast part of the county that is part of the Mississippi River Sartell. So there's funding options for anybody that wants to try cover crops, but this specific program is geared towards those in the Sauk River Watershed.
If it's not in the Sauk River Watershed and you have to, search elsewhere for these resources, does it become more of a challenge for you guys, or is it?
Not really. We can utilize some programs with the Natural Resources Conservation Service. We do have some state funds that are available, and several of these other watershed areas do have funding available, maybe not to the extent that this program does within the Sauk River, but there are options for others that are located outside of this area as well.
Yeah, we have quite a few partners out there that we can search and find some funds, hopefully, for you. And if we can't find anything, there's always the Environmental Quality Incentives Program. That's the federal funding that's available once a year. But we also have funding available through Ag Certainty Program, or Minnesota Agriculture Water Quality Certification Program. So if you become certified or are certified, there could be potential funding source there. There's other clean water funds that are available as well, depending on where you're located. So if you're interested, just contact us. We'll do the best we can to give you the technical assistance you need, and then also try to assist with the financial assistance. And like Nate said, cover crops, that's one component of the soil health system. We keep on hearing a lot about soil health, and cover crops is just one great tool for us to improve soil health. The benefits of cover crops, we can help with wind and water erosion. It can help build up your organic matter. So if you're on sands and you don't have a lot of moisture in the summer and it stops raining, we can really build up that organic matter that'll hold the water. It can help protect water quality by recycling nutrients in the soil and keeping it available for the next year's crop. Some other practical benefits are it can supply additional forage. So if you have some cattle and you would need some extra forage, you can grow that cover crop and harvest that as well. Again, it stores nitrogen, can suppress weeds, it loosens and aerates the soil. We can develop mixtures for compaction issues. There's a whole slew of different types of cover crops that are out there. If we just really sit down one-on-one with you and determine what's your need for the cover crop, and what are your main objectives, and we'll tailor a mix to fit your needs, and then also help you find some sources of funding to implement it. And the cost of these prices on the seed is going, down. Our rates are going down a little bit, so that's pretty economical to put in. And the benefit that you get from the environmental benefits and the practical benefits is really good. And a lot of people are trying them out, either if they're planting into standing crops or planting right after corn silage or after peas, or however, there's just so many different scenarios. So come on in, call us, and we'll work through your operation and find the best fit for you.
Do you ever get feedback as far as how the success rate was with previous cover crops and how they wanted to implement things and how they hoped things would turn out and then give the results to you?
Oh, absolutely. We get a lot of feedback. Sometimes it doesn't work out as good as we thought it was. Because if a lot of our cover crops are broadcast seeded, if they're not incorporated and we don't get the rain, we may not get the growth that we want. It could have been a late fall, wet fall like last year, and by the time you get them planted, and then it froze up, it may not have worked out. So we're really looking at your operation, finding those optimal times that we can get that established so you get the best success that you possibly can have. But yeah, not in all cases it works out perfect. So that's why we really want to sit down and figure out what's going to work for you. Make sure that we come up with a good plan. We'll start small. And after you got to figure it out on your operation, and then we can go gangbusters and try it on everything.
Define start small. What
Start
kind of?
small. It could be a few acres
Just a
for a
couple acres?
producer.
Okay.
It could be a 80-acre field for somebody that may have quite a bit of land and they just want to try a field size. So it could be a portion of a field. It could be a full field. It could be anything, really. But the biggest thing is give it a try. See what happens. And know that if it doesn't work out this year, that's not an indication that it'll never work out. It could have been just, weather or something else could have happened and it just didn't work out. So you got to stick with it, try it out, see what works on your operation because it's truly different for every producer and what they want it for and what their goals are.
I might be reaching here when I ask you this, Rick, but is there a blend or a mix that has really surprised you or really has worked out great in the past and has always been consistent?
Pretty consistent is the cereal ryegrass because
Okay.
that we can plant up to November 1st. That's our recommended seeding dates. I've seen it planted later, even if it doesn't grow in the fall. It's kind of a dormant seeding for next spring. That seems to grow pretty easily. It can really scavenge a lot of nitrogen in the soil. You get good ground cover with it, and it's pretty consistent. But we like to try to do more blends to get a few other species out there just to feed our microbes and all the other critters in the soil. There's a ton of critters underground that we can't see that we got to feed too. And it's just like us. We like to go to the buffet. We don't like just to eat the corn or just the beans. I like my choices, and I like the dessert bar. So when we throw out there a lot of different species, some species are going to benefit different critters better than others underneath the ground. If it's the fungi, the bacteria, the microbes, or even the little bigger insects in the ground.
The cover crop buffet. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Very good. Breakfast on the Farm's coming up.
Yes, that's coming up here really quick. That's a week from Saturday, June 2nd. It's going to be hosted at the Voigt Dairy. It's the 11th annual County Breakfast on the Farm event for Stearns County. The votes include partners of Aaron and Nikki Vogt, Ethan and Carrie Vogt, and Ken and Sally Vogt. The farm is a third-generation farm which was purchased by Elmer Vogt, Ken's father, in 1961. It is located at 34302 Queensfield Road in rural Sauk Center. One note that I want to mention here is there is no parking on the farm, but there is a free charter bus that will take attendees to and from the farm. So keep that in mind. Don't go to that address. You need to go to the Stearns County Fairgrounds, and they'll be having the bus go back and forth to the farm. Parking is free, and they will also have breakfast on the farm for $5 a plate. Children under 5 are free. You can still go to the farm even if you don't want breakfast. It's free admission just to tour the farm. It's just a great way we can get the community involved and tour a dairy farm in Stearns County. There's going to be a lot of activities there. They're going to include a tour of the farm. There's going to be listening to live radio coverage out there. They're going to have a petting zoo with live baby farm animals. That'll be interesting. They will have a fresh baby calf out there. They're going to have the Dairy Princess out there. The Minnesota Vikings cheerleaders are going to be out there.
Wow.
And they're going to they're gonna
to
lead a race through the farm obstacle
Sorry about
course.
that. I got a little excited there.
There's going to be a lot of different activities happening. It's always a really good turnout, and it's a great way for the community to get out there and see an active producing farm from our great dairy producers in the county.
And I've gotten to know Ken and the boys. I actually played baseball against some of those boys when they were in Sauk Center. So, growing up, just getting to know those guys and being involved on their farm, it's really it's truly a great operation to go and look at when you see, the different generations on the farm working together to try to make things work. So it's kind of a unique situation. So applaud them for their efforts for being selected this year as a breakfast on the farm. And if you get a chance, get out there because they're good people.
How's that selection process work as far as getting chosen? And do they submit that they want to do it and then go from there? Or?
I'm not certain. I would have to ask one of our board members, Tom. He's
curious.
actively involved in it. They do have a pretty large planning committee. And on here, I'm just reading through here to see Sadie Fredericks from Dairy Star, Jack Hales, Sandy Hansen, Brad Herkenhoff, Sarah Rorick. There's quite a few people involved, and we applaud them for all their efforts on putting this together for the community here.
Yeah, it's going to be really an honor to be chosen or to have that hosting that event. It's pretty cool.
So if you are a dairy producer and you would be interested in hosting the breakfast on the farm, you can just give us a call at the office, and we could definitely pass your contact information to the right person.
All right. Nature and kids.
This one, I actually read an article this morning and saw a news release from KARE 11 about nature and kids. And I had the opportunity to work with Scott Daninger and Amy Spohn over at the Albany High School last week.
Okay.
And being a trained teacher with my college education, I was able to get back in the classroom. And we had a land use project. And the land use project was over at the Mother of Mercy property where they have the Rock the Prairie event.
Sure.
So the kids had to take that piece of land and they've got to develop something there. What kind of, they got to look at economics. They got to look at the environment. So my job there during the biology class was to present options for them to how to protect the environment. That's what we do. So last Thursday, I spent some time at a water fest up in Melrose teaching fourth graders about the benefits of keeping cover crops on the landscape. We did a runoff model where we showed rain on different types of land uses and looked at what was running off the ground and what was actually going into the ground, soaking in. So it's interesting. And I'm very interested in this topic. And I came across this article this morning, Brad, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to talk about that on the radio.
Okay.
That's a good topic. And my wife, she's not real into the nature thing. I'm taking her up to the Boundary Waters this summer. And her biggest thing is I hate it hot and I hate bugs. So we're staying in a tent in the Boundary Waters. And I guess the idea behind that is that I find that being in nature myself, there's a little bit of a stress reliever there. Mm-hmm. You're in nature, and kids today, you remember when you were younger building forts, and you probably got into a little mischief and biking 2 miles to the local creek, and you probably shouldn't have been there to begin with. But often today, there was a professor from the University of Wisconsin River Falls. His name is Richard Louv, and he wrote a book called Last Child in the Woods, Saving Children from Nature Deficit Disorder. And the idea is the fact that they're spending a lot of screen time now. We all know in today's day and age, technology is our driver. But when Rick and I both work in the environment, we see that when we're educating our youth, there's a lot of that going on. It actually builds confidence in kids. And Richard, not this Richard, another Richard, had a child tell him he liked playing indoors more than outdoors because there were more electrical outlets nearby. That was his comment. So it's important to have those kids. They actually spend 4 to 7 minutes a day in uninstructed play outdoors. That's nothing. And they spend over 7 hours a day in front of a screen on average. And everything that's going on in schools is in front of a screen, and they all have tablets and phones. Mm-hmm. I might sound a little bit old school, but I was probably one of the pioneers to get rid of my flip phone, the last that anybody at work, and I got a little grief for it. But I'm proud of that, actually. But being in nature, it builds confidence, promotes creativity and imagination. They're going to get bit by a few bugs and things are going to happen to them, but it's an opportunity for them to have that uninstructed playtime, at least for the young kids and stuff. Teaches responsibility, and it gets kids moving. It gets them outdoors and doing activities and it makes them think. It makes them critically think and try to solve problems on their own. So I think that's one of the things we try to do. And Stearns County has a great park system. Ben Anderson, the parks director for the Stearns County Parks Department, they've got a great network of county parks here in Stearns County that can provide that outlet for those kids. And a lot of the comments I read were that, there's nothing nearby. Well, we've got opportunity here. We've got the Sauk River that travels through the middle of the county. We've got the Two Rivers Park just north of Albany here. We've got, North Lake Park. We've got all kinds of parks close to us here that the kids can get into nature. We've got the Rockville Park. We've got Warner Lake Park down by Clearwater. So, going Quarry Park and Wade Park.
Bike trail.
And the bike trail.
Yeah.
Lake Wobegon is an important part. It brings tourism to our area, and it also gets us back in nature. So I see a lot of families. I'm on that thing daily. I live very near the Wobegon, and I'm on there almost every day, and I see the families using it. It's good to see. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. It's important. Get your kids into nature. Get them involved. You'll hopefully see some changes. So,
all right, very good. Locally led workshops?
Yeah, Rick and I participated back in April in the local work group, taking input from different stakeholders in the area about how to address resource concerns within Stearns County. There are actually some training sessions coming up for us here. The one that's involved for us would be August 1st in St. Cloud. And they're looking at how to locally lead conservation. I guess it goes without saying that's the title. What resource concerns are the biggest in Stearns County? What things do we want to address here? And I guess we've gathered some of that information, but this is an opportunity for us to kind of refine that process and determine, what are the biggest issues in conservation that Stearns County faces? I guess, Rick, is there anything you wanted to add?
No, it's just a training for us to help better lead our county and keep everyone actively engaged, and we're looking forward to these sessions.
Well, what else can you actually learn? You guys know so much already.
We learn every day. It's amazing. You come to the office, and we have producers come in and tell us information. It's like, wow, man, that's cool. I never heard of that. And
yeah.
I'm all about that self-study and learning from everybody else, and you can never learn too much stuff. So not that you got to go to every single training that's offered, but learning the things that's going to help you do your job better. We really take that seriously and want to make sure everyone in our office is taking those opportunities to stay current with their trainings.
And I guess I really enjoy visiting with our farmers. I think that's one of the things that, as a project management supervisor, I get an opportunity to do some planning, whereas in previous roles that I had, I didn't have that. And taking their input into this locally led process and seeing what they see and what the boots on the ground, what's happening out there in the landscape and how can we change it. So this is an opportunity, to share that information up the line. But again, visiting with those farmers on their site, walking around, seeing their resource concerns and what they're facing in today's, farm economy and the landscape across Stearns County. So it's important to take that into consideration. So citizen input, farmer input is important, and we're always willing to listen to ways that we can improve and enhance our resources in Stearns County while still providing, opportunity for good production.
Okay. Also, you got a deadline set up for something coming up here, Rick, right?
Yes. Through FSA, the margin protection program for dairy is coming up. So if you haven't came into the office, give them a call. They're very busy over there, so set up an appointment. The deadline is June 1st to sign up for the margin protection program for dairy.
Week from tomorrow.
Yeah. It's a voluntary risk management program for dairy producers that was authorized under the 2014 Farm Bill. That'll go through the end of this year, and then we'll see what happens with the current Farm Bill or if we get a new one passed here. Significant changes to the program for the 2018 coverage year will be explained to you as well. And then all I can say is if you need more information, just give them a call at the Farm Service Agency, same building we're at. It's same number, 320-251-7800, extension 2. Set up your appointment, learn about it. The deadline's coming up June 1st, so
don't wait until June 1st to come in and register. I'd urge you to go now. You got Thursday, tomorrow's Friday, Monday's a federal holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So consider, up to Wednesday at the latest to consider that.
Just give them a call first to make sure that you have an appointment, because if you drop in, they may not have anything or you may be waiting for a while.
Yep.
Remind us of your office numbers.
320-251-7800, extension 3.
Very good. Rick Berscheid, NRCS, and Nathan Hylla, also from SWCD, joining us this morning.